I bought lottery tickets for my in-laws, messed up 2 numbers, and they called me bad luck. Said I cost the whole family a fortune, and my husband shoved me downstairs and broke my leg. But next day, the ticket with the wrong numbers somehow won 10 million. They took the huge prize, felt zero guilt, and dumped me in the basement to die. Then the next day, an extreme ice apocalypse hit, and the world froze for 3 months. I froze to death in the basement, and when I opened my eyes, I was back at the lottery shop. This time, I'll eat hot pot, drink Coke, and watch them freeze to death bit by bit. Miss, sorry, I entered 1 number wrong on this ticket. At the lottery shop, the owner said that apologetically. I held the ticket, a chill running through me. It was blazing summer, but I still felt cold. It was the pain from my last life, burned into my bones. I couldn't believe it. I'd really been reborn. In the family chat, my in-laws and husband kept pushing me to buy the ticket. My father-in-law snapped, "Useless woman, can't even give us a grandson. Hurry up and bring the ticket back, don't screw up my jackpot." My husband was even meaner. "You old hag, been out this long, fooling around?" My mother-in-law was cursing too. "Worthless thing, don't forget the groceries. You trying to starve us?" Looking at the family chat, rage rose in me. Less than a week remained before the whole world froze over. This time, I'll get revenge. I'll make damn sure they die horribly. I told the lottery shop owner, "It's fine, man. I'll take the one with the wrong number too. I'll pay again, and you print another one with the right numbers for my in-laws. The wrong one will hit the jackpot. That's mine." With both tickets in hand, I stuck to my old routine and went to the market to buy food for that evil family. But this time, I didn't buy anything that keeps. I picked the cheapest stuff that spoils fast. They won't be eating for many more days anyway. When I got home, my father-in-law was studying lottery numbers, and my husband was on the couch texting some other woman. My mother-in-law was fussing over her gold and silver jewelry. She thought money loses value, but jewelry doesn't. She'd spent all her pension on that junk. She had no idea that once the apocalypse came, only food would matter. When I came in, my mother-in-law quickly put away her pendant, all flustered, like I might steal it. "Why were you back so late? Were you really out fooling around?" The second my husband heard that, he kicked me. "You cheat on me, I'll kill you." Holding back the pain, I handed the ticket to my father-in-law. "Dad, your ticket's ready." He checked the numbers, saw they matched what he'd sent me, and nodded in satisfaction. "Useless woman, this is all you're good for." Then he turned back to studying his lottery picks. My mother-in-law saw that most of the produce I bought wasn't fresh and wouldn't last, so she started cursing me again. "Why'd you buy this rotten crap?" I said, "The market had a sale today. It was cheap, and half of it was free." That finally satisfied her. She threw the groceries at me. "What are you standing there for? Go cook." I wanted nothing more than to poison their food and be done with them, but I had to hold back. A quick death would be too easy on them. Monsters like that need to suffer slowly. Sure enough, the next day, the ticket icon won 25 million. After tax, 20 million flat. My father-in-law's ticket won nothing, and he started smashing things at home. He nitpicked everything and said my bad luck must have rubbed off. I said nothing. While out buying groceries, I went straight to the lottery center, wearing glasses, a mask, and a hat to claim the prize. I donated 2 million on the spot, and kept 9 million in cash. To avoid raising bank suspicion, I turned 5 million of that cash into bank gold bars. With the remaining 4 million, I had to build a doomsday safe house as fast as possible. Only 5 days remained before the Great Freeze, and experts said it'd last at least 3 months. By then, over half the life on Earth would die out, and I had to survive this disaster. For the safe house, I chose the basement where I froze to death last life. It was a half-buried unit with 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. It came dirt cheap with the house when we bought it, and I'd planned to rent it out. But the housing market had been awful these past few years, so it sat empty the whole time because of that half-basement. Note, the original cuts off here, full meaning preserved. It came dirt cheap with the house when we bought it, and I'd planned to rent it out. Then the real estate market tanked these past few years, so the place sat empty, all because of this half-basement. That's why my mother-in-law's family called me a loser. But soon I'll show them who's really the loser. This basement's nearly 200 square meters. Used right, it's enough to keep me alive. I contacted a security materials renovation company and told them I was starting a business. I needed the basement turned into a warehouse that's damp-proof, waterproof, insulated, temperature-controlled too. Bulletproof, blast-proof, plus brand new ventilation, sanitation, and heating. The renovation manager found it odd and said he'd need time to gather resources. But when I slapped 2 million in cash in front of him, his eyes lit up. "Miss, if you've got money, you should have said so. Forget a top-grade industrial greenhouse. Even if you want a space pod, no problem." I was very satisfied. I paid a 1 million deposit first. I needed this done fast for business. If you can finish early and keep it confidential, I won't just pay the last million. For every day early, I'll add another 100 grand. "Sis, no problem. Want the stars? I'll get 'em for you." Seeing that much money, the boss was money crazy. He wanted the whole company on the job. Honestly, I could have picked a better place, like a villa or a penthouse. But in my last life, I died in this very home. I can't let it go. This time, I have to survive in this house. Really live. I want to watch those people get what they deserve. Money really is unbeatable. With cash driving it, a job that should have taken 3 days was finished in just 2. Looking at this fortress of a house, I felt a lot. It had several AC units, fridges, stoves, ventilation, even over a dozen silent generators. I gladly paid the rest and the bonus. Once the security build was done, I went to the wholesale market. Buying huge amounts at a supermarket would have drawn attention. So I found a general wholesaler and told him I was opening a food shop in my neighborhood and needed to stock up. Mostly food. I gave him 3 days to prepare it all, and promised that if he finished early, I'd pay an extra 100 grand per day. Seeing how generous I was, the boss happily acted as my agent. He ordered everything for me. In less than 2 days, they had it all ready and delivered it straight to the basement late at night. After the wholesaler left, I checked everything I'd ordered. Nothing was missing. Since it was a big order, the boss threw in quite a few extras. I counted them. Hundreds of pounds of rice, flour, grain, oil, plus hundreds more of vegetables and meat, including beef and lamb. There was a fridge too. Once the frozen apocalypse hits, freezing food won't be a problem at all. And for heating after the freeze, besides generators, I also bought lots of soft, comfy quilts and fabrics, plus over a dozen space-grade protective suits and down coats. They can handle cold as low as -100 degrees. In an ice world, water won't be the issue, but I still stocked half a room with bottled water. Besides that, frozen food, self-heating rice, and hot pot were must-haves too. The colder winter gets, the better hot food feels. I also bought lots of snacks. I'd be stuck in the insulated room for over a month. Food, clothes, and shelter weren't enough, so I stocked some toys and game consoles too. Then I rushed to the mall and bought some high-end makeup, pretty jewelry, and clothes. Even during the freeze, I was gonna stay a fancy girly girl. After that, I also went to a pharmacy and stocked up on all kinds of basic medicine. After the apocalypse ends, lots of people will have frostbite and need medicine. Then I can help others. What I'd stocked up was enough for way more than 3 months. Even half a year or a year, we couldn't finish it. While secretly building my safe house, I also dealt with my in-laws' family. On the 3rd day, the temperature suddenly dropped from over 30 degrees to the teens. Summer turned into fall. At first, nobody cared. But by the 4th day, daylight suddenly dimmed. The temperature dropped close to freezing, and it even started snowing. Snow in June. People were panicking, and the Weather Bureau couldn't find the cause. Then prices shot up, and every time I went shopping, I came back empty-handed. Or I'd only buy a little of the cheapest pickles and steamed buns, barely enough for one meal. My husband and in-laws were furious. Even feeding pigs, you can't do it this stingily. You trying to starve us? I put on a hurt, pitiful face. The temperature suddenly dropped, and prices have gone crazy. A cabbage costs $100 now. That's enough for a few lottery tickets. If we spend it all on veggies, what a waste. Dad was thrilled. Right, buy cabbage, eat it, it's gone. But a lottery ticket, you might win big and turn your life around. Dad sent me another 100. Told me to buy her more tickets tomorrow. I happily agreed. Mom and my husband had no choice. So they had to eat from my old stockpile, with pickles and watery porridge. I used to be a hoarder, loved to plan ahead. The fridge was always packed. But now I'm deliberately not buying new food. They have to use up the old stuff. Sure enough, after 2 days, the once full fridge was half empty. On the 4th day, the snow stopped, but temps dropped to -10. Especially with a downpour at night. Next day, the rain froze. The whole city, streets, building walls, all encased in ice. People started to panic. Because once traffic stopped, all supplies ran short. By the 5th day, temps hit -50. Prices jumped tenfold. And essentials like food, water, and clothes skyrocketed 100 times. The community turned on heat early, but the cost was huge. Our savings weren't enough. It used to be a few thousand. Now it's tens of thousands. No heat? You'll freeze to death. Our savings are locked in term deposits. Can't touch them yet. Husband and Dad looked at Mom. With no other option. Mom had to painfully sell all her jewelry to pay the heating bill. Just then, someone knocked. It was our pretty neighbor, Xiaoya, who grew up with my husband. They were childhood sweethearts. Xiaoya always wanted a rich guy, so she didn't end up with my husband back then. After her rich boyfriend went bankrupt, she remembered my husband. For 2 years, she's been flirting with him, and he's been very attentive. Always giving her the best of everything. We're out of food. My parents are old and weak. Can we borrow some food from you? My husband has no principles when he sees Xiaoya. Ignoring the little we have left in the fridge. He didn't hesitate to grab 2 cabbages and some rice and flour for her. Mom was blinking in distress beside us, signaling him not to, but he wouldn't listen. Seeing they couldn't stop him, my in-laws glared at me. Honey, prices are crazy high now. We need to be careful too. Xiaoya, you're out of food. Just eat less. Think of it as a diet. Hearing this, Xiaoya's eyes filled with tears. Brother, sister-in-law, I'm sorry. I know you look down on me. Old hag, shut up. I'm the boss here, not you. Xiaoya's just jealous. You're so beautiful, how can you go hungry? Then he poured her half a jug of oil. Xiaoya left all smiles, saying when she gets paid next month, she'll pay us back. The door had just shut when my husband snapped. Who told you to butt in, you old hag? You made me look bad. My in-laws flipped too. Yeah, Xiaoya's so filial. She only came for her parents. Look at Xiaoya's figure. She'll have a son. Unlike you, married 2 years and not even a kid. It chilled me to the bone. I knew I had to leave. My last bit of feeling for them was long gone. What now? You gave Xiaoya the food. We're about to have nothing left. The only way to make money now is by lottery tickets. Dad, why don't you write a few numbers again? The second father-in-law heard that, his eyes lit up. He had total faith in his lottery numbers. He shut his eyes and, by feel, wrote down a few strings of numbers. Holding back a laugh, I asked, so who's gonna buy them? It's too cold out. You'll freeze. Mother-in-law rolled her eyes. You're young and the most useless one here. If not you, then who? As she said that, my husband had already shoved me to the door. Cut the crap. Go when I tell you. Then, bang, the door slammed shut behind me, and I finally let out a long breath. My little act was over. I checked my phone and backpack. Inside were all the basement keys, and my old cards. Before the elevator shut down, I took it straight to B1. The second I got out, the power cut off. That meant no one be coming to B1 now. I unlocked the insulated room, and the second I stepped in, I felt pure bliss. I'd already turned on the air system and heat by phone, so warm air hit me right away. That long-lost warmth made me want to cry. In my last life, I died here all alone. So I became, to them, a girl with no family. When I got married, my parents were gone, but they left me an old tiny apartment. I sold it, scraped together a dowry, and bought this half-basement place. Looking back now, that choice was really smart. I'd been eating pickles and thin porridge at my in-laws for days. My mouth felt dead. For a real Sichuan girl, that was torture. I pulled out a self-heating hot pot at once. Soon the whole room smelled like hot pot, and I was instantly full of joy. At the table, I ate my hot pot in style and even made myself a fresh fruit juice. And of course, my screenside side dish, the 34th floor security feed. Before I left, I'd already put a camera in the living room. My in-laws and husband were under my watch. After the elevator stopped, management posted a notice in the group, and still no one cared about me. Mother-in-law even sneered, good. If the elevator's out, that loser can't ride it back. That bitch can climb all 34 floors step by step. Hope it kills her. But by nightfall, I still wasn't back. My husband's stomach was growling, and he whined about dinner. When I wasn't home, my mother-in-law still hadn't realized my worth. Once I'm gone, cooking will obviously fall on her. Soon father-in-law started yelling too, you old hag. My daughter-in-law's gone, and you still won't cook. You want to starve the two of us? She had no choice but to go to the kitchen. They had zero restraint. After one meal, the fridge was a lot emptier, and they were proud of it. There's still half a pork knuckle in the fridge. Hurry, let's eat it behind that black-hearted daughter-in-law's back. After we're done, when she gets back, she can gnaw on the bones. What they didn't know was, everything left in the fridge was cheap rotten veggies, and that pork knuckle was the last meat in the house. They'd lent Xiaoya all the rice, flour, and oil. That pork knuckle was their last supper. After dinner, I still wasn't back, and father-in-law finally remembered his lottery ticket. Why isn't that loser back yet? She didn't win the lottery and tried to keep it all, did she? I almost laughed. So he does have a brain. I did win, but the money was already in my card. My husband was hunched over his phone, chatting it up with Xiaoya next door, and he looked really annoyed when father-in-law interrupted. To not lose the family lottery, he called me. I was enjoying fruit salad when he called. He heard me eating and got furious. You bitch, what the hell? We're starving and you're out eating? Where are you? What are you eating? I answered in a pitiful voice. Honey, I'm at a relief center eating dry cornbread and ice water. I'm freezing. What? You're at a relief center? Yeah, a storm hit. Roads are blocked. Can't get back. Lucky I found a supply point. Lots of food here. Veggies, meat, eggs, milk. They said when the snow melts, they'll drive me home and deliver supplies door to door. So I'm saving it all for you. He had speaker on. My in-laws heard. They were thrilled, cheering. We're saved. Knew the community wouldn't abandon us. Great, no more rationing. So naive. If there was a relief center, wouldn't the property management tell everyone? And none of them thought to come find me or bring me back. Just waiting to eat me out of house and home. Cold-blooded. Honey, my phone's dying. Got a queue to charge. Talk later. I hung up and turned it off. For 3 whole days, I relaxed. Mornings, I made cake and drank milk. Noons, I watched the frozen world while eating hot pot, beef, lamb, shrimp, tripe. Nights, I saved power and ate sashimi and salmon. Simple, plain meals every day. While eating, I'd watch old movies and shows, feeling emotions with the characters. Of course, my favorite show was still my in-laws on the 34th floor. Now the complex, to save power. Has intermittent power. Only 3 days passed. The house was a mess. They knew I had food and supplies were coming. So they let loose, wasting and gorging themselves. Soon, the fridge was empty. Only rotten veggies left. Then neighbor Xiaoya came to borrow food. Any more and we'd starve. My in-laws dropped the act, said no. But Xiaoya, teary-eyed, cooed at my husband, big brother, let's talk privately. Only if I'm fed can I give you an heir. The hint was obvious. His eyes lit up. He walked over and hugged her waist. I cursed, what a scumbag. After Xiaoya left, the food was truly gone. They finally panicked. My in-laws begged in the community chat. But who had extra food? Then my mother-in-law remembered me. She cursed. That money losing is at the relief center. Why hasn't she sent food? My father-in-law fumed. If not for her, would we have eaten everything so fast? My husband video called me in a rage. I answered instantly. On screen, I was enjoying a barbecue with a special grill. Sizzling steaks, lamb chops, and fresh shrimp on the grill. I adjusted the angle so they could see clearly. Their eyes went wide. I could almost feel their drool through the screen. He screamed, "Where are you? Eating so well?" "I'm starving. Minus 70 degrees, eating barbecue by the fire. So warm and blissful." I laughed. "I'm at the relief center. Come find me. Dare you go out?" As I was about to hang up, they panicked. My mother-in-law begged, "Daughter-in-law, get us food." "Sure. All three of you kowtow to me, and I'll think about it." At the word kowtow, my father-in-law and husband were furious. "I'm your king. You want me to kneel?" But my mother-in-law, for food, dropped to her knees. "What's dignity kneel?" My father-in-law and husband exchanged a look, then reluctantly knelt. A man's knees are gold? Not anymore. I watched the farce, smiling. Good show. But sorry, still not sending food. You lied to us. Yeah, you chose to believe it. Not my fault. In my last life, before I froze to death, I called my husband and begged him to save me. Did he ever pity me? So now, why should I play saint and forgive them? After I hung up, I went back to enjoying my barbecue feast. At the same time, on the 34th floor security feed, the three of them were going insane. My husband was shaking with rage. That worthless bitch is definitely not at any shelter. My father-in-law caught on too. Right. Where would a shelter get lobster and steak? We're screwed. She lied to us. She has food and still will bring us any. My husband frantically called me, but I'd already turned off my phone. My father-in-law suddenly stood up. No, we have to go find her. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Xiaoya. Her face was pale, and she'd gotten way thinner. Brother, my parents froze to death this morning. You're all I have now. Let me move in with you. My mother-in-law blew up at once and flat out refused. But I have nowhere else to go, and I brought something. She pulled 2 cups of instant noodles from her bag. This is my last stash. I was saving it for my parents. My father-in-law changed his tune right away. Yaya, your parents would want you to stay alive. Come in, quick. It's freezing out there. My mother-in-law didn't like it, but for the noodles' sake, she kept quiet. The three of them stared at those 2 cups of noodles like they were lifesavers. How do we split these 2? Easy. One for us, one for Xiaoya. My husband said like it was obvious, why should she get that? My mother-in-law snapped, we're family. Xiaoya's an outsider. Xiaoya's gonna be my wife. Say she's an outsider again. Yeah. Yaya will give us a grandson. She's way better than that barren trash. The three of them started cooking the noodles, and the smell made them drool. But 2 cups for 4 people was still too little. Each got less than half a bowl, nowhere near enough. After they finished, they were hungry again. No. We have to find Jiang Bingbing. He must be hiding somewhere. He has food and water. He couldn't just vanish. He has to be somewhere nearby. Wait, I remember. Don't we still have that basement? My husband froze. The basement, right. That half basement that came with the place. Could Jiang Bingbing be hiding there? My mother-in-law suddenly perked up. I remember he kept going there lately, saying he was fixing the place up. Could he have gotten it ready there long ago? Very possible. My father-in-law got excited. That bitch planned this all along. The 4 of them rushed out for the basement. On level B1, my husband ran straight to the door. It was locked, but faint light showed through the crack. He really is in there. Open up. Open this door. I was in my room on my phone. Hearing the knocking, I couldn't help but sneer. So they do have some brains. Shameless bitch, you're hiding down here living it up while we starve upstairs. My mother-in-law cried out, daughter-in-law, we were wrong. Open the door. Come on, we're family. Let's talk this out. Xiaoya's voice was the gentlest. Sis-in-law, please, have some mercy on us. My parents are dead. You guys are all I have now. I slowly walked to the door and said through it, oh, so you still remember I'm family? The second they heard my voice, all 4 got excited. Open the door. We need to talk. Say it like this. I'm not busy anyway. Daughter-in-law, we know we were wrong. We treated you badly before. Let's make peace now and get through this together. Remember when I begged you last time? Oh, do you remember what you said? My husband got impatient. At a time like this, you're still hung up on that? Open up. We're freezing and starving. Then die. I said coldly. Then I turned and walked back to the table, ready to enjoy my afternoon tea. The 4 of them kept pounding and crying outside, but I didn't want to hear their crap anymore. I put on my noise-canceling headphones, picked some soft music, and time ticked by. The noise outside got weaker and weaker. When I took off my headphones, it was quiet outside. I checked the monitor. All 4 were slumped on the floor, faces blue-purple, barely breathing. In that minus 70 basement, lasting this long was already a miracle. With his last bit of strength, my husband raised his head and looked at the camera. His lips moved. Like he was saying, Jiang Bingbing, I hate you. I turned on the mic. What a coincidence. I hate you too, so goodbye.